as such by going underneath the foot. Again, I started right on top. I came around the foot, crossed over, went around the ankle, and you can see how that's a figure eight, right? It looks exactly like a figure eight. Around here, loop-de-loop around, right? And that's a figure eight. So, for the purposes of this class, when you demonstrate your ankle tape, what do you need to have done? Anchor, stirrup, horseshoe, stirrup, horseshoe, stirrup, horseshoe. 3 sets of stirrup, horseshoe, alternating, right? Then, that's why, do you know what this is called? A closed basket weave ankle tape. Because why? Those stirrups and horseshoes are weaved in, you don't do all 3 stirrups and all 3 horseshoes. I go stirrup, horseshoe, stirrup, horseshoe, stirrup, horseshoe. So I create a weave. Why is that good? That makes the tape really strong relative to each other. It's woven together into that, basically, right? Then, so stirrup, horseshoe, stirrup, horseshoe, stirrup, horseshoe. Then, 2 sets of ankle locks. Remember, an ankle lock goes here and then to the other side. That's 1 set, not just 1, 2, I'm done. I go 1, 1, that's 1. Then I go 2, 2, that's 2. Then a figure eight, and then I'm not quite done yet. I finish with my closure strips. My closure strips are just anchoring everything back down in reverse. I start and work my way up. I overlap the tape by about half each time, and I work my way up until I'm closed at the top, and then, okay, there's my ankle tape job. Ooh, that's not good. I got a window I shouldn't have there, all right? But those are the components. Those are the pieces of the ankle tape job. Places to be careful on, especially when you do this figure eight. This portion of the foot is very apt to be compressed too much. Okay, it's very easy to give somebody kind of a foot cramp from tape around here. So especially when I do this figure eight, when I put this piece around here to start then the rest of my figure eight, I want to be careful. I start from medial side and I pull around to the lateral side, but I want to be careful as I come around here. I don't want to pull very hard. Feel how tight that is around your foot right there? That would get crampy after a while. There's nerves very close here, and just that metatarsal, or that arch, that transverse arch is supposed to have the ability to expand. So really, when I did this, I just really let the tape lay itself. I didn't like pull it too hard. And then when I come across, then as I come around here, if I pulled a little bit here, it wouldn't make as much of a difference because this can get compressed more without getting crampy or painful. This area right here around the foot, especially at the base of the fifth and right behind the base of the fifth and in the medial longitudinal arch here, too much tightness there, they'll complain. They'll complain a lot, all right? Now, the reason I made this is I just did a sticky side to sticky side strip. So you've got a strip of tape here that's not sticky. Instead of just trying over and over on heel locks and figure eights to learn this angle, effective heel locks and figure eights is all about learning this angle, where to start, so that you can nail this. And so it'll cover. Otherwise, you're going to see it looks easier, but as I go down through here, if I don't get it quite right, then it's going to be very wrinkly and garbage and painful eventually for the person as it goes around the heel. This allows me to practice that. I can just take my hand and I can practice what happens if I put this angle versus if I'm here and I try to make it. So this can be a really good practice strip to get the feel for what angle. Now, if I start there and I come up and I finish here, that's fine. They're not on top of each other, but that's okay. The real key is, what does it look like back here where I went around the ankle on each side? If that's laying flat and at the right spot effectively, fine. If you find an angle that you can get underneath the foot and around and flat and follow it up, one of the main keys that causes problems taping when you're early on is you trying to make the tape go somewhere while it's unrolling. Meaning, I need to have the angle right before I start applying the tape. If I get the angle right, then I can let the tape go where it wants to go and it won't be wrinkled. if I get my angle wrong, and then while I'm taping, I try to make it go where it needs to go because my starting angle was wrong, it'll wrinkle. You'll be applying pressure on one side more than the other. So the real key to taping is the starting point. If you get the angle right to start, then the goal is to let it go where it wants to go. That's how it doesn't wrinkle. And then you can get it to lay without wrinkling. And it'll lay. And if it ends up like this, that's fine. Tear there. And then you come over here and do the same thing. When I say start and end at the same point, I mean this is your starting and ending window for figure eights and heel locks. It's on top of the foot from the kind of the bottom of the tape to here. Start and end here. If you start here and end here, that's fine. It's still in this window. It also helps you remember, start on top of the foot for all these. You'll see different people start at different points depending on their personal taping technique. But a good way to learn is start and end here. Once you've learned this taping technique and you tape 500 ankles, then you can start to tweak it to fit your own personal technique, okay? But once this is done, now relax your foot. You can see it's generally held in that neutral position, and especially, I want all of you guys to do this. Just gently invert this ankle and feel that support that's there. It's not holding her to the point. Would this be painful or uncomfortable, do you feel? Is it fairly comfortable? Yeah. Okay, so it's fairly comfortable. All tape is going to feel like, but at the same time, it's fairly comfortable. But as soon as I do this, you can feel how much it's limiting you based on the tape, okay? So before she takes this off, make sure, I want everybody to just give a slight little inversion there and feel how that tape is. This is about how tight it should be. One of the ways you check at the end, capillary refill on the toes. If you press the blood out of your capillary bed and let go, it turns white, and then you let go and it pinks back up. It should come right back. It shouldn't stay white and then slowly take 10 seconds to come back. So that's one thing you can check if you're worried that your tape's too tight, all right? So just everybody real quickly feel this kind of tightness so you can feel how tight it should be. Go. Try to invert her ankle gently. No, not rotate. Let's invert it. So grab here, grab the foot as a whole, and turn it into inversion. Grab the foot, turn it in. Okay, you can feel the resistance there.